The fourth chair. Nobody in Black Pine Camp could remember bringing a fourth chair. There was only three of us that summer. Me, Owen, and Mara. 3 sleeping bags, 3 backpacks, 3 chairs around the fire. We counted them every night. On the fourth night, there was 4. An extra chair. The extra chair was old, older than anything else at the campsite. Its wood was almost completely black, as if it had been sitting in smoke for decades. One of the legs was shorter than the others, making it rock gently whenever the wind blew. But there was something strange about it. It wasn't facing the fire, it was facing us. "Did you bring that?" I asked Owen. He stared at it. "No." "Mara?" She shook her head. "Don't touch it." Owen laughed. "Okay, that's definitely not creepy. Don't." Something about her voice made him stop laughing. We left the chair alone. For the rest of the night, none of us mentioned it. But we all noticed something. Every time the fire popped, the chair seemed a little closer. Not much, an inch, maybe 2. We told ourselves it was the uneven ground. Then, around midnight, Owen said quietly, "Guys." We looked at him. "Is that chair empty?" It was. At least we thought it was. The fire suddenly flared. For half a second, there was a shape sitting in the chair. A person. Long hair hanging over his face. Then the flames dropped. The chair was empty again. Nobody slept. At sunrise, the fourth chair was gone. We searched the entire campsite. Nothing. We decided to leave early. But while we were packing, Mara found something carved into the dirt beneath where the chair had been. 4 names. 3 were ours, Mara, Owen, me. And underneath them, a 4th name had been scratched so deeply into the soil that the letters were almost black. Ellie. Mara dropped her backpack. "No." Owen stared at the name. "Who the hell is Ellie?" Mara looked at me. Neither of us answered. Owen's expression changed. "You two know that name?" I swallowed. "Ellie was our friend." "Was?" Mara's eyes filled with tears. "He died here." Owen looked toward the lake. "When?" "3 years ago." Silence. "How?" Mara whispered. "Drowning." Owen stared at us. You told me you didn't know each other before the trip." We didn't want to talk about it. "Why?" Neither of us answered. Because the truth was worse than saying he drowned. Ellie simply didn't drown. He had disappeared. We had been 14. We were camping at Black Pine with our parents one night we snuck away from the tent and gone swimming. There were 4 of us. Ellie, Mara, me, and another boy named Daniel. Daniel had been the one who suggested we race to the floating dock. Ellie never made it. We heard him screaming. We saw his hands above the water. Then he vanished. The adults searched for 2 days. They found his shoes. They never found his body. Afterward, Daniel moved away. Mara and I never spoke about that night again. Until now. Owen slowly turned toward the lake. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because," Mara said. Ellie's last words were strange. Owen looked at me. "What did he say?" She stared at the water. "He said there was someone under the dock. That night, we didn't light a fire. We stayed inside the cabin. All the windows were locked. The doors were barricaded with the table. At 11:47 p.m., somebody knocked 3 times. Knock, knock, knock. Nobody moved. Then we heard a 4th knock. Knock. Owen whispered, "That's not funny." Another 4 knocks. This time they came from the window. Then another window. Then another. 4 knocks from every side of the cabin. Myra covered her ears. "Don't answer." The knocking stopped. For several minutes there was nothing. Then a voice came from outside. A child's voice. "Can I come in?" Myra stopped crying. It was Ellie's voice. Exactly as we remembered it. 14 years old. Scared. Cold. "Please?" Owen stood up. "That's impossible." The voice whispered, "I'm cold." I grabbed Owen's arm. "Don't!" The voice came again. "Please let me sit by the fire." We heard a chair scrape across the porch. Then another. Then another. Then another. 4 chairs being dragged into place. Myra whispered, "Don't look outside." We didn't. For the next hour, something outside sat by the cabin. Sometimes it knocked. Sometimes it whispered our names. Sometimes it laughed. But just before dawn, it said something that made all of us freeze. "Daniel is coming." Daniel arrived at 7:13 that morning. We hadn't told him where we were. He simply walked out of the woods, older now, 30 years old. His face was pale. He stopped when he saw us. Then he looked at the campsite. There were 4 chairs around a dead fire. He whispered, "It's back." Nobody spoke. Daniel sat down. 3 years after Ellie disappeared, I started hearing him. Myra stared at him. "You heard him too?" Daniel nodded. At first, it was just knocking. He looked at the lake. Then I started seeing the chair. Owen asked, "What chair?" Daniel looked at him. "The 4th one." A cold wind moved through the trees. Daniel continued, "It followed me." "What do you mean?" "It moved 6 times. He pointed to the blackened chair. "It always comes back." Myra whispered, "Why?" Daniel shook his head. "Because we left him." I felt my stomach tighten. "We didn't leave him." Daniel looked directly at me. "Yes, you did." I remember the lake, the dog, Ellie screaming, and nothing else. Sometimes I spent 3 years trying to forget. Ellie hadn't been alone. There was something beneath the dog. Something pale. Something with long arms. There was something that wrapped its fingers around his ankles. I had seen it. And I had run. We all had. Daniel leaned closer. Ellie wasn't calling for help. Myra found, "What?" He wasn't saying, "Help me." Daniel's voice dropped to whisper. He was saying, "Don't let it out." The woods went silent. Even the birds stopped. Then we heard a chair scrape behind us slowly, wood against dirt. All 4 of us turned. There were now 5 chairs around the fire. We ran to the lake. I don't know why. Because some part of us knew the truth was waiting there. The dock was still there, old, rotting, half submerged. Daniel stepped onto it. "Don't," Myra said. He ignored her. He walked to the end, then stopped. He pointed down. There was something beneath the water. A face, pale skin, eyes opened, looking up. "Ellie!" Myra screamed. The face smiled. Then the water moved. Something enormous shifted beneath the dock. Daniel stumbled backwards. The wood cracked. A hand burst from the water and grabbed his ankle. He screamed. We pulled him back. For one horrible second, we saw what was beneath us, or beneath him. It wasn't Ellie. Ellie's body was wrapped around it. His arms were stretched impossibly wide, as though he were holding the creature in place. His mouth opened beneath the water, and somehow we heard him run. We ran. Behind us, something climbed onto the dock. We didn't turn around. We didn't need to. We heard the wet footsteps following us. 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5. The footsteps stopped. We looked back. Nothing. On the lake, the 4 chairs sitting on the dock. We made it back to the road. Daniel was still alive, but he wouldn't speak. Mara kept repeating the same sentence. Ellie was holding it back, I asked. Then why is it here? She looked at me. Because we remembered him. The 4th chair wasn't haunting. It wasn't a haunting. It wasn't Ellie. It was an invitation. Every time someone saw the chair, every time someone remembered Ellie, the thing beneath the lake became stronger. We drove away from Black Pine that morning. We never returned. Daniel disappeared 6 months later. Mara stopped talking about the lake, and I tried to forget. 4 years I succeeded, until last August. I woke up exactly 3:14 a.m. 3 knocks came from my bedroom window. Knock, knock, knock. I didn't move. Then came the 4th knock. I slowly opened my eyes. Outside my window stood 4 chairs. 3 were empty. The 4th had someone sitting in it. Ellie. He looked exactly as he had at 14, soaked, pale, smiling. I couldn't breathe. He raised 1 finger to his lips, then pointed behind me. I turned. There was another chair in my bedroom. It hadn't been there before. It was facing my bed, and someone was sitting in it. I couldn't see their face, only wet hands resting on the armchair. Ellie whispered from outside, "Don't let us see you." The thing in the chair slowly lifted his head. His face was hidden behind dripping hair. Then it whispered, "Too late." The lights went out. I heard 4 chairs scrape across the floor. Then 5, then 6, then dozens, all around me. And somewhere in the darkness, something began knocking. Not on the window, not at the door. From inside the walls, knock, knock, knock. I haven't slept in the house since. I moved 3 weeks ago. I changed my phone number. I stopped visiting my family. I stopped going camping. I don't talk about Black Pine. I don't say Ellie's name. Because last night, at 3:14 a.m., I heard the knocking again. 3 times, then a 4th. I stayed perfectly still. Then a voice whispered from the hallway, "There's a chair waiting for you." I didn't answer. The voice laughed. And then the sound I've been dreading ever since. A chair scraping slowly across the floor, closer, 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 until it stopped beside my bed. I kept my eyes shut. Something leaned over me. I could feel cold water dripping onto my face. Then Ellie whispered, "Don't open your eyes." I almost cried with relief. Until he added, "Because I'm not the one beside you." And from the darkness beneath my bed, something whispered, "4." And that is it for this story. Hope it didn't scare you too much.